Okay, hello everybody. My volume is on now. Thanks, guys. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna start all over here. Make sure I don't forget anything. Okay, so metabolism. It is the term that is used collectively for all of our physical and chemical reactions that occur in our body. All our glands and body systems are either directly involved in, rely on, or influence our metabolism. So I could talk for hours about how metabolism is affected in your body. I'm going to talk about 3 different points though today. I'm going to talk about balancing your blood sugars, balancing your thyroid, which means, if overcoming fatigue and burning more fat, and balancing your adrenals, which is relieving symptoms of chronic stress. Hence my password is balance. Balance is key for metabolism. So in many other countries of the world, except for the US, people are well aware of the huge impact that lifestyle has on our life, or on our health, including diet, exercise, drinking, drug habits, proper attention to stress, and emotional health. Yet in the US, we tend to blame genetics on the diseases we get. Health is determined by our genetics, but our lifestyle has a tremendous impact on our genes. So while your genes may make you more susceptible to certain diseases, your lifestyle can be the difference that these diseases actually develop. So I'm going to talk about balancing your adrenals, which means chronic stress. What does chronic stress do? It causes cortisol production, and it depletes certain neurotransmitters, which is a big word, but it depletes these things in the brain, and this triggers carbohydrate craving, binge eating. It actually can disturb your sleeping patterns, which in turn can release growth hormones or cause blood sugar irregulation, and it actually can cause bad things for your immune system as well. So this cortisol production, this chronic cortisol elevation, changes your thyroid function, which in turn lowers your metabolic rate and makes it even more difficult to utilize the nutrients that you do use or you do eat, and it's really hard to lose weight then. So just to give you a heads up, there's over 50 hormones that regulate our mood, metabolism, and our sexual function. So we don't have enough time to talk about those. So under stress, whether at work or at home, let's take some steps to make your body more resilient to the negative consequences of chronic stress. Remember, stress weakens your immune system. It contributes to weight gain, and by stimulating cravings of refined carbohydrates and sugars. And remember from our previous ones, we want to go complex carbs, not refined or simple carbs. It slows down your metabolic rate, and it alters your patterns, your sleep patterns, and more. So finding a way to deal with that stress, either meditation, yoga, exercise, switching jobs. I mean, you have to really, really look at your life and what is causing that chronic stress. So the chemical reactions of metabolism takes the food we eat and it transforms it into fuel and building blocks of our body. Another thing I'm going to talk to you about is balancing your diet, and balance of the diet full of fruits and veggies. They are the answer to the world's problems. So accessory nutrients such as flavonoids from fruit, carotenoids from vegetables form a protective matrix that allows the body to function in the most strenuous environment. So if you are in chronic stress, fruits and vegetables will help your body help deal with that. So if you're not giving your 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, a deficiency of almost any combination of nutrients can dramatically alter your metabolic efficiency. So that's something to look at as well with your metabolic efficiency. Another thing to think about is exercise. Exercise increases your metabolic rate by increasing your lean body mass to fat mass ratio. So if you think about it, muscle burns more calories than fat. The more muscle means more pounds per body weight, and so then what it also does is it increases your resting metabolic rate, which is how many calories. If you would just sit there how many calories your body burns at a resting state. So one tip I give about metabolism, and when somebody says my friend eats this many calories, or my friend can eat like crap and doesn't gain any weight, I do not want you to compare yourself to anybody else, because we all have our own genetic code and we all burn calories differently. So do not compare yourself. Even compare yourself to a standard chart saying, oh, my weight is this, my age is this, and it says I need to eat this many calories. What I do recommend is that you start a log. Add your calories up. Not for restriction. I don't want you to give yourself a restriction. Eating when you're hungry, which I'll get to about hungry. Hunger is a good thing, but eating when you're hungry, and then looking and what did you do that day? Did I have a heavy weight day? Did I train hard? So that means, my calorie intake is going to be up throughout the whole day because I'm burning more calories. And then you have your lazy day where you're sitting at your computer or on your couch. You're not going to eat as many calories. So, being more mindful of what your day entails and how you feel, and eating when you're hungry. So that's what I say, keep a track your food, and then look at the amount of calories at the end of the day that you're at and say, oh, this day, I did a lot of weight training, or this day I was pretty lazy, but how did you feel? Was I tired? Was I getting sick? Those types of things too. So really getting to know your body is the best for you and for your metabolism. Some more tips on metabolism is don't fear fat. Okay, fat is a good thing, the good fat. So I'm talking about, let's read them off here: nuts, seeds, avocados, coconut oil. What are some other ones? Olive oil, those types of things. Don't be afraid of those. It's when the majority of our diet consists of the bad fats is I guess a concern. When you eat those good fats, which I'll tell you how to. So don't be afraid of those. Bulk up on fiber. So that means your complex carb. That means your fruits and vegetables. And also another tip is to be your own health advocate and detective. Get to know your body, how your body feels. If you feel there is an issue, but all your labs say otherwise, dig deeper and trust your body. So pay attention to what foods affect you and how they affect you, if they affect your blood sugars, and the ones that keep you pretty steady. It's so funny because diets conjure image of suffering and oh, there we go. I thought I missed a few. Going back, sleep more. Getting control of your sleep, making sure you're getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is really important. So when we don't get enough sleep, we have a tendency to reach for sugar, high sugar or simple sugar foods. And then drink moderate alcohol moderately, and get away from the artificial sweeteners. Small amounts of stevia is fine here and there, but trying to stay away from those artificial sweeteners, and balance it out. Balance. So that means optimizing all your body systems to the best of its ability. Eating foods that promote health. Avoid foods that deplete health. So balance out the different proteins. A couple days. Have your fish a couple days. Then that gets in your good fats. Have your white meats, your turkeys, your chickens. And then also have that legume day where you get that plant-based protein. That's really great to incorporate. Making sure that half that plate is fruits and vegetables, if that means you have to have a salad before. And my thing that I like to teach is always having three different types of fruits or vegetables on that salad. My favorite combination is blueberries, avocado, and cherry tomatoes. Lots of great color, great antioxidants, and then using, an olive oil or a vinaigrette on top of that salad, because what you need to absorb all those fat soluble vitamins is fat. So get the good fat. Minimum of 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and removing those sugars and refined carbs out of your diet, and then drinking more water, like I've said. I know it's tough, food prep there's a learning curve with it, but you will find that learning to eat healthy actually allows for more fun with food, be experimental, and at the same time, you're going to be losing weight and feeling better. Exercise, like I said, that helps with your resting metabolic rate. It increases it, and it increases your lean butt muscle mass. And then adequate sleep. So what you're going to do is kind of like reprogram your body to tastes and food selections. But in the end, the payoff, you're going to just feel way, way better. So another thing to remember is, with supplementation, consult your doctor, of course, but I do recommend a multivitamin, vitamin D, and fish oil are 3 supplements that I do recommend, but please, again, consult your doctor. And then flaxseed. Flaxseed is a great thing to add to your diet. Okay, so going back to diets can conjure images of suffering. I don't like even using the word diet, because really diet is what you consume in a normal day. A diet does not consist of restriction. And then when you think of, like, we recommend lifestyle changes, it means you're going to suffer for life. No, that's not it. But because of all of the yo-yo dieting that so many have done in the past, that really did suppress a lot of people's metabolism. So what I do a lot with a lot of my clients is actually called reverse dieting. I slowly increase your food intake so unwanted fat isn't gained, but yet you're giving that metabolism a boost. So what I say is live the life you want that is sustainable, and that's what we teach your Approximal 50. Eat and learn what your metabolism can handle. Get to know your body. Not, like I said, keep track of your foods, but it's not a calorie counter. It shouldn't give you that restriction, that feeling of restriction, but it should give you, being more mindful and get to know your body a little bit more. And everyone is so completely different. So you cannot, base your intake on a generic thing you get off the internet. So more energy, more strength, more lean body mass, faster fat loss, and better rest. That would be awesome. I'm going to say it again. More energy, more strength, more lean body mass, faster fat loss, and better rest. I'm going to read this verbatim here because I just read about a study. So some post-weight loss metabolic adaptation and suppression is normal. Energy expenditure was measured in subjects who achieved 10 to 15% loss using diets based on 60% carb, 20% fat, and 20% protein in one group, 40% carb, 40% fat, and 20% protein in another, and then you had 10% carb, 60% fat, and 30% protein. So that first one, that 60% carb, 20% fat, and 20% protein, that would be more like a high carb diet. The 40% carb, 40% fat, and 20% protein, that would kind of be more like a higher fat. And then the 10% carb, 60% fat, and 30% protein, that again is another higher fat, but it's quite a bit more fat than the other one. And after 4 weeks, the greatest resting energy expenditure, so your how fast you burn calories, was found in the lowest fat group with the highest carb. So the slowest metabolism was recorded in the low carb and high fat group. And usually, to be honest, if you have a high protein diet, it's going to be higher in fat. So that is quite, that goes against the low carb dieting for the purpose of weight loss. And the high carb diet sustains metabolism better than the low carb diet. So welcome back those carbs, everybody. Going back to, I think it was our first one, more energy, more strength, more lean body mass, faster fat loss, and better rest. So welcome back those carbs. When you're thinking about, and again, complex carbs, your quinoa, your whole grains, your chickpea noodles, I know they make bean noodles out there, your farro, your bulgur, those types of carbs. When you're picking out your bread, don't just guess it's multi-grain. Oh, that's whole grain. Look at that ingredient list and make sure whole grain is that first ingredient, not unbleached or refined, whole grain. So bottom line, your metabolism is retrainable. We've messed with it with yo-yo dieting, with certain medications mess with it. So, but your habit and mindset needs to be retrained first before your metabolism can be retrained. Many people desire the richness and the possibility that life has to offer, but are frustrated with the demands life and effort are needed to make these simple changes. So just remember that the time is now to rebuild your health, and you can have that control of your lifestyle choices. So how do we get there? How do we get there? What action step? Make an appointment with one of us, Lindsay, Sarah, or myself. You can just get a consultation and see what you need, and we'll meet you where you're at. So you can call 751-2974. Check us out at proximal50.com. My email is vanessa.lennick@proximal50.com if you have questions, any questions about any of the webinars. And just so you guys know, we're not purists here. We don't live the purist life, but I've always tried to teach people to make responsible choices for their health, and I myself try to make responsible choices for my health. It's the choices you make 6 out of the 7 days that really does count, guys. And we in the end, we have to make it enjoyable too. So that's my little short information on metabolism. Please, now is the time if there's any questions. Oh, it looks like there was still some troubles hearing me. All right, are there any questions? You guys can pop on and ask, or you can put it in the group chat. No questions? Well, once again, guys, if you have any questions, okay, there was tips for mindful eating. You know, when you are trying to be more mindful and kind of bring that connection back to your brain and your stomach, we got to bring that connection. We just can't be eating just to eat. It's no fun then. So being more mindful, you know, do a log. Like when I woke up in the morning, I wasn't really that hungry, so I waited a couple hours, but then I had a really good breakfast. And always have some sort of protein with that breakfast. And then when I was done with that breakfast, I was still kind of hungry. You know, being more mindful. So maybe I need to increase my breakfast intake. And then 2 hours later, I did have a snack, but I was too busy. I was hungry, but I was too busy at work. So I need to set a timer on my phone to make sure that I do take time to feed my body when I'm hungry. And before I ate, am I hungry? Am I just eating because I'm bored or everybody else is eating? Like really bringing that connection of why am I eating? And then while you're eating, making sure you actually enjoy it. Turn that TV off. Have a decent discussion with your family or with your coworkers. Get away from that computer and actually realize that you're nourishing your body and look at all the different colors on your plates and how great that is for you. And then when you're finished, how do you feel when you're finished? Do you feel satisfied? Did you eat too much? Are you kind of full? Satisfaction is different. And if you have a tendency to overeat, that's when you really need to look at your portion sizes and have a starting point. And then put, what I like to tell people is, let's say you have like a bag of something. put it in a little container and put the bag away. And then, you know, but when you do have that protein, that complex carb, and that fruit and vegetable, that will really make you feel fuller, because that fiber is, you know, it makes you feel fuller, and then it makes you feel fuller longer because it takes a little bit of that fat from the protein to digest. So that's why that combination is so great. And then you also won't get that spike in blood sugar. When you just eat that fruit, that kind of spikes your blood sugar. But when you eat it with a protein and a fat, that levels it out and makes your body function a lot better. Okay, so we have some other questions here. I kind of went long on that. Yeah, I know. Like I said, we're not purists here. I eat in front of the computer as well. It's just, you know, but knowing, you know, we have a table in our employee break room, sitting down, you know, every once in a while, and having a good conversation with your coworkers or enjoying your food is really important. So yeah, it's tough, trust me. But you just have to give it a try and do what works for you too. Like I said, everyone is so different. So you can't copy your neighbor. You have to kind of make your own plan. And paying attention to those hunger cues is so important. You know what? Don't be afraid of feeling hungry, because when you're hungry, that means your body is burning what you're eating. So feeding your body when it's hungry, and not waiting that too. Let's say I'm sitting here and I'm actually hungry right now because it's lunchtime, and I'm going to eat as soon as this is over, because I'm not going to wait an hour or two down the road. Because what happens when you do that restriction, or you push that out, or you try to ignore those signs of hunger, then you have a tendency to overeat, and then you have a tendency to make poor decisions as well. I mean, I remember in college being so hungry and pulling over into that Hardee's line and getting 2 mushrooms and Swisses. I don't think you can anymore. But I mean, that's like your thing. Like, if you've ever had that point where you're so hungry and that first thing you see you want, that's when you need to why you need to stay on top of your hunger and feed your body when it's hungry, but feed your body the right things. I always teach people, you know, try to eat majority of your calories in the beginning of the day. Then you're not so famished, you have more control, you make better decisions. So then when you get home in time for supper, you're not snacking the whole time, you're snacking on not good stuff the whole time you're making supper, and then by the time supper comes, you're full on crap. So like being more mindful and knowing where you have a tendency to overeat or emotionally. You know, after supper, a lot of people say, is it bad to eat late in the evening? It's not, because it's calories in, calories out. But why are you eating so late in the evening? Is it emotional eating? Are you bored? Or is it because you haven't gotten enough calories throughout the day? So that's why if you get an adequate amount of calories or energy in the beginning of the day, you'll have a little bit, I don't like using the word control, but you'll just be able to make better decisions. So next time you're sitting in front of the TV in the evening, do you really need to make that way to get a bag of chips? Or maybe just have a glass of water, and that'll help you out a bit. So that's, any other questions? Well, I hope that was really helpful for everybody. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great week. It's going to be March soon, so February is over, but what a great month it was. So thanks, everybody, and hopefully, you know, if you have any questions, please let us know at Proximal 50. We're here for you.